Hi guys, it's Sherry. Today we are going to be playing with the silk screen. I just received the silk screen in the mail a few days ago and I wanted to really create something fun with it, but I've been seeing a lot of people on Facebook are just now joining our clay world, and I love creating simple things for our beginners and give them all that step-by-step information. But this is not just for beginners, this is for everybody. We are going to be doing a fun soap dish. I have my nature Cernet clay here. I have my scrap clay. I thought this scrap clay came out gorgeous when I started mixing all the colors together. I wish I knew what the colors were so I could tell you, because this color is so fabulous together. And unfortunately, I cannot give you that information because it was just a bunch of my scrap. But the silk screen that we are going to be using is from Love and Light Gallery, but look how cute. I really hope you could kind of see it. You'll see it better when I put it on the clay, but it has these tiny little owls and they're just adorable. And I decided I wanted to go with a larger cutter. And I got this flower cutter a little while ago. And I am truly drawing a blank on the name of the company, but I will link it when I look up where I got it. But to start out, I have my Cernet clay rolled out to, let me see, my number 3 on my pasta machine. So this is like the 4th thickest setting on my pasta machine, because mine starts at a 0 for the thickest, but that's about the thickness that you want. This will be the inside of our piece. So I want to, when I lay it down, I want to make sure I have no air underneath. And then I'm going to take my silk screen. You put the shiny side down. Most silk screens will always have the name on the bottom, and if you could read the name on the bottom, that's how you know you have it laid out correctly. So before I even lay my silk screen down, I need to make sure I have it in the right position so I have plenty of room to cut my piece out, and I want this centered. So as long as my silk screen is centered, I know that I'll have plenty of area to cut my piece. So this looks pretty good to me. I think I have plenty of room to make sure that it's centered. So I will just lightly rub it down. I am not going to do the 2 little ones. Those are more for like earrings. So lightly rub it down and then get your acrylic paint. I have lamp black here. And then get your scraper. I always forget what this is actually called, but I'm going to call it a scraper. I don't know why I forget, but this particular one's from Create Along. And this is my always go-to. So just rub that over. I'm kind of taking my time here because I don't want to get the other imprints on my clay here. I just want this particular one. So I'm going to be a little bit more careful when I am putting my paint on. All right, and then you're going to carefully lift it. Just kind of check it, make sure that it came out nice. Look how gorgeous that is. How beautiful. She did such a nice job on that. I absolutely love that. That is the cutest. How adorable. All right, rinse your silk screen out right away. If that paint dries in your silk screen is going to be destroyed. If you don't want to rinse it out right away, put it in a small bowl of cool water, soapy water, and let it kind of soak there for a little bit so it doesn't dry out, and then rinse it out. All right, so now that your stuff is rinsed out, you want to do the test to see if it's dry. Normally you could just see if it's still wet, but sometimes, like this clay, I'm not sure if it's going to be dry. So I'm just going to lightly take my hand, and I mean lightly, and just take your little finger and just touch it. And now I know no paint is there, it's dry. Now I want to take my cutter. I am going to measure this up. Now this is not 100% centered, guys. So you got to kind of eye it up yourself. And I know like right here would be my center. And then press down. And it's such a big cutter that you kind of Want to make sure you're on the sides and not in the middle. If you have a big acrylic block, you could press down that way. It's already cut, but I'm just going to kind of give you ideas. Because if you just press in the middle, you're not going to do a very nice job. And then there we go. Look how beautiful that cut. Perfect. I love this clay. This clay is so pretty. Just so pretty. All right. Get a bowl. I'm going with a smaller bowl because my piece is smaller. And make sure you can put this in the oven. Make sure that your piece can withhold the heat, all right? Don't get something plastic or anything like that. You want to make sure that your piece is definitely able to go in the oven. And my Cernic clay is very, very soft right now. It is so hot where I am right now. So I am just going to wiggle this real nice to make sure I'm not stretching it. And when you are going under your piece, put your knife on like an angle and then lift that way, all right? Don't just go straight down because it's not going to really work that well. And then I like to lift my piece like that if possible. And then we are just going to set this in our bowl. Press it down gently. You want to make sure no air is underneath it. Okay. And I could feel the bubbles if I have any. All right, that looks pretty good. I have a little tiny hair. Come on off. There we go. Let me smooth that over. Look over it, make sure it's where you want it. I feel like this side is up just a tad bit, but I also feel like my piece is centered, so I think that's just the flower. Next, I want to make sure I have little holes for the water to drain. So what I'm going to do is, this design has little holes. You can see it right there, those, not holes, but little circles. I'm going to put my holes right there. That way, it kind of goes right with the design. I'm going to put 4. And then, how perfect is that? It went so nicely with the design. So now I'm going to place this in my oven. I am going to put tinfoil over it. So, because I'm actually baking this in my toaster oven, I don't want, this is pretty high up. I don't want my piece getting so hot that it kind of scorches my clay. So I'm going to put clay, or I'm going to put tinfoil over the top of it. And then with this particular one, you'll see it'll tell you to bake at 230 to 265 degree Fahrenheit for a ½ hour. So always, always, always follow your directions, because some of them will say 275, some will say, 265. We want to make sure that we are baking at the correct temperature. So I'm going to do 265. I'm going to bake mine for a ½ hour, and then we will go from there. All right, so while that is in the oven, we are going to get the back side together. I'm making this thicker because I want my soap dish to be sturdy. This is on my number 2, so it's my 3rd thickest setting. You can see the thickness, so it is thicker than the other one. And then I am going to use the top here. One of the things that you need to realize when you're using this particular cutter is, you see how this is all the same size? There is no difference in the slice part. That means every single one of these, if you push this down all the way, will cut. So I am only going to focus mainly on pushing this all the way through my clay, and then slightly pushing this part. So watch how I'm going to show you this. because we don't want it cut all the way through. So I'm going to get my bottoms, or my ends, I should say. Push those all the way down. All right, so that's all the way pushed down. And then I'm just going to push my middle down, but not all the way. And then do a slight pressure on these. And then lift. And then you see how we just have the indents here? And here I think I pushed a little hard, but that's all right. It's the back. And then we can pull that up. Now that'll be ready to put on the back. I am going to clean this little area up. Anything that has like rough clay on those little edges, I just want to clean it up a bit. And then we are going to make little feet. I want my soap dish to kind of stand up a little bit. So I'm going to use my Cernet clay here, my Nature. And then I'm going to try to get my pieces the same size. I'm not sure if I'm going to put 3 legs or 4 legs on it yet, but I am going to prep them and get them ready. So I want to make sure. You could use a cutter as well to make sure you're getting perfect, like little legs if you want. I'm gonna eyeball my stuff up. I'm okay with that, but if you want to make sure everything is 100%, then use a cutter. And the cutter, it doesn't matter what cutter it is. It could be a circle, it could be a heart, it could be whatever. As long as you're cutting 4 of the same thing and rolling it up into a ball, it will all be the same. I'm thinking little squares like that would be super cute. What do you guys think? I think that would look really nice. And obviously we're going to do that when our piece is out of the oven. But I think that would look really nice for our little legs. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. All right. So I'm going to put all of these off to the side. They're all very similar in size. This one's just a tad bit bigger. So another thing I wanted to point out is I have a lot of people on Facebook, or I'm at least reading a lot of people complaining about their Cernet, that it's hard to condition, it's hard to work with, that it's crumbly, things like that. They're buying them at the stores. I don't know what's going on with the stores, to be quite honest. I got all mine from blueberry.com, blueberry beads, I'm sorry, blueberrybeads.com. And all their stuff is soft, fresh, very workable. I'm going to show you guys. So here's a brand new package, not even open. You can see I could press it. It's good. I mean, I'm not going to struggle with this at all. So my recommendation is, if you're going to get Cernet, get it from Blueberry Beads, because I know their stuff is fresh and it's really, really workable. Also, what they do, and I thought this was fabulous, is that when they ship it out in the summertime, they actually put like a package thing in there to keep it from getting too hot that the clay bakes. That is the only company that I know does that. So they are actually protecting the clay with this silver truthfully, I don't know what it's called, but it's like some kind of packaged stuff that you would use, I'm assuming, with like food to keep things cold. So the company's fabulous. And if you're going to get clay, Cern at least, I would recommend that place because the stuff is wonderful. All right, so I am going to wait till my stuff is out of the oven. I'm going to grab my clay adhesive, and then when everything is cooled off, we'll come back and do the next step. My piece is out of the oven. Everything cooled off. You always want to make sure your piece cools off so you don't end up burning yourself. And look how cute that is. I think that is adorable. I love these little owls. So, so cute. So the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we're putting our back on and doing our holes as well. So to put on our back, we want to use our oven baked clay adhesive. And you're going to put it all over, and this is going to be your glue. All right, so now I know I got it everywhere. Get that glue off my hands. And the next thing I want to do is really kind of figure out where my petals go. I need to line this up. And I actually, let's see here. Nope. This is really going to be like the hardest part of all of it. It's just lining everything up. Unfortunately, I made the mistake by not flipping my clay, but I'm going to show you how to fix a mistake like that, because it's really not that hard. So we are going to pull everything up into place. Just stretch it over. Our clay is thick enough that we can stretch it. This was my absolute mistake, but it's a perfect way to show you guys how to fix something like that. So I am just going to make sure everything matches up nicely. Okay, so that's what we got. And then we're going to take our X-Acto knife and start trimming our edges. And just follow your piece. It's not hard. And don't worry, we're going to get everything lined up nicely. I really like to kind of keep all my little mistakes in my videos. This way you guys can really see that everyone makes them. Nobody is perfect. I don't care who you are. Everyone makes mistakes. So now I am actually going to take just a kitchen sponge, and I'm going to start pressing down on my clay here. And this is going to give me some texture. It's going to help bond and move everything into place properly. So basically, to avoid what I just did, you're going to actually flip your piece and then put the impression on. And I completely forgot about that. until obviously I was trying to match it up. All right, so there is our back. I just want to make sure everything's up on the edges here. I'm going to just take my finger and I'm going to kind of pull everything up, make sure it's right on the edge. You could take your silicone tool, do it as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. I will end up doing a quick little sand of this after it's baked. Now I need to redo my holes. So I'm going to take my puncher again, go right through, put my holes in. And now do my feet. So let me decide. I think I'm going to stick with that square look because I really like that look. So before I put them on, I'm going to lay them all out to make sure they're all the same size because you want your stuff to be leveled. And I'm thinking we can do 4. So this is a very, very simple, easy soap dish. There we go. That'll look so adorable. I'm very pleased with that. So look over your piece, make sure everything is exactly how you want it. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to do some little fine tuning on my edges here. Make sure everything's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to pop this right back into my oven. And then I'm going to bake it for another half hour. And then we will come back and finish our piece up. My piece is out of the oven. I kind of jumped ahead. I did sand it and then I start to edge it. Now I'm going to show you how I edged it. But you want to make sure your piece is sanded down for the most part. You don't want no rough edges. So what I did was I took my acrylic marker here. And you want one with like a fine tip. And you're going to kind of have to go here and just go over it, color it basically. And you're going to want to get into all those little crevices. And having the fine tip is going to help you. And you can see I'm just going over a part of it first. I'm going to do the one side. And then what I found to help is then do the other half. It's kind of hard to do on camera. I do it much better when I have it laying on my leg. So that's why I did most of it first. But you want to make sure you're getting all those pink sides. And then get your marker right in there. And then what I did was I took the edge here and I just did a very small line edge in the front so you can see the black in the front. So that's how I did that. Now if you don't want to do that step, you don't have to. I love edging my pieces off. I think it makes it look so much nicer and more professional. But look how beautiful that looks. I think that came out fabulous. So I'll let that completely dry. I see I kind of missed the area right in here. I'll let this dry and then I'm going to get my bright tone. And you always want to seal your silkscreen area and your marker area. And this way, because this piece is going to get wet a lot from your soap, you know that it will last. So bright tone is perfect. All you do is paint it right on. And you don't need a lot. It dries fairly quick. I'm going to go right over the entire top. And if you get a big thing like this is 1 pint, and it'll last you, I don't want to say a lifetime, but it'll last you a very, very long time because you're not using much. And then go right over all your sides. Polymer clay does not have to be sealed. It becomes plastic, but when you're using your silk screens and paint, you always want to seal those because over time it will deteriorate off your piece, especially if it's being handled a lot. So that's why we are sealing it. So I'll let this completely dry, and then I'll do the back side. And the only reason I'm doing the back side is because I am sure I'm going to have little bits going over past my edge, and I want it all to match. And when I say match, I mean like the shininess of it. So let that dry, flip it, do the other side, and then we'll see what our final piece looks like. And here we go. Our piece is dry and complete. I really think this one came out fabulous. I'm loving this silk screen. This is brand new to Love and Light Gallery. She just created this piece, and I am so happy that I was able to grab it off of her. But I really hope that you enjoyed learning how to put a silk screen on your clay, how to edge the clay, fix mistakes when we did it, you know, texture your back, things along those lines. If you enjoy creating this piece with me, please remember to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know if there's something else in the future that you want me to work on or show you guys, you know, or something along those lines. I love doing my step-by-step tutorials. And I did look up, I actually got this cutter from Clay Box Supplies. Yeah, Clay Box Supplies off of Etsy. So I'll link all that stuff for you guys. And you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Bye.